system comes completely assembled, but the first thing we want to do after we take it out of the box is take the caps off the bottom of the chassis clamps. First thing I need to do is familiarize you with the system. It comes with the adjustable arm, the torsion bar, the chassis mounts, and the cockpit control. The system's very similar from the 600 to the midget to the sprint car, so we're going to fit one to a sprint car. Based on the 40-inch car and our 12-inch system, we're going to go back 28 inches from the motor plate. Next step is to put the 28-inch mark on the opposite side of the chassis. Now that we have the caps removed, we're going to go ahead and install it on the car. Now that we have it set down on the chassis, we're going to take the caps, install the screws, and leave it slightly loose so we can finalize the location. Now that we've got the caps installed on the bottom of the chassis, we're going to verify the 28-inch dimension and tighten up the nylon screw. That takes the free play out of the block, and then we can tighten the bottom screw. Okay, once both nylon screws are tight, we're going to take the screws in the lower cap and bring them up equally, and watching the gap, keeping it equal on each side. Okay, now that the caps are installed and snug on the bottom of the chassis, we're going to remove the nylon screw and install the greaser to grease the system. Word of caution, don't over tighten the greaser, it can run into the torsion bar. Next thing we're going to do is take the torsion arm bolts that are supplied with the system and install them in the bearing carriers. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is attach the drop link to the torsion arm bolt. Depending on your bearing carrier selection, you might have to use a spacer. Once we have the lever installed, we're going to go to the right-hand side. We're going to attach the drop link to the torsion arm bolt. The last thing we do before we go on the track, adjust the link so the bolt slides straight in. No preload. Okay, one of the last things we want to do, after we have our drop links attached to the torsion arm bolts, we're going to take a look at them from the back. We want them hanging as close to straight down as we can. If they're one way or the other, we'll loosen up the clamp on the torsion bar, slide it right or left till they're happy, and lock it back down, leaving ourselves about an 1/8 inch end plate. As part of your order form, you're going to note what type of chassis that you actually have. Every chassis has a little different manufacturing process. Some guys have a 1-inch tube, some have an 1.25 inch tube, some are straight, some are bent. We're going to supply you the right cockpit control to fit your application. So the next step would be deciding where the control is going to be. Do you want it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side? Sometimes it's relative to having a wing slider or another shock control, but in this application, we're going to install it on the left-hand side. First step would be to remove the caps of the control itself. Okay, now we're going to install the caps on the handle control and choose its location. Final step in installing our cockpit control is the cable mount itself. We want to take the control handle, put it in the lower position, slide the cable clamp against the tension, and bring it up ever so slightly, tightening the screws right there. And finally, the most important thing for you guys to know is those procedures, they apply to every system, whether it's for a 600, a midget, or a sprint car across the board. On the technical side of things, the systems are based around taking 25 thousandths of torsion bar away from the right rear corner. Soften it, let the roll bar control the roll, and the torsion bars control the compression. The next part of the package is taking some rebound out of the left rear shock to allow the Dri-Bar to do its job. 20 to 30 pounds for a 600, 30 to 40 pounds for a sprint car. Take the rebound out, soften the torsion bar, let the Dri-Bar do its job. The most important thing to remember or to know about the Dri-Bar is it's taking a job. The torsion bar typically does two jobs. It controls compression and roll. We want you guys to isolate those thoughts. Let the torsion bars control compression, let the Dri-Bar control the roll. Then we can run softer torsion bars, better forward bite, more reverse split, and the final and best part of the whole package is throughout the race, we can adjust the spring rate of the right rear corner. When the track's heavy, fuel load, best tires, stiffen it up. Track goes away, tires go away, fuels go away, soften that baby and keep the spring rate equal to the loads applied. On a final note, if you'd like to talk to us, 317-486-9710 or at our website, which is www.dri-bar.com. Our mission is to help you go faster.